The development of new functionalities, such as Sherlock, that drive our cloud-based solutions is possible, among others, through projects like Gateway. The goal of Gateway is to create a comprehensive and integrated ecosystem that enables the secure sharing, use, and storage of spatial data.
Hi, hello. Nice to have you here. I hope you are watching us, and if you're not watching, you are listening. This is something very interesting, at least for me, as this is probably one of the very first this type of conversations we are having at CloudFerro. We are aiming to have such conversations regularly with our internal experts, but also with external guests and people who have something to say around AI, space, dual use, LLMs, and other interesting topics that are relevant for us and for the audience. But today, we are meeting a person with a huge experience and know-how related to AI and local language the language models. Szypulski. Jan, could you tell us something a bit about yourself?
Hi Radek. Hi to all listeners. Radek invited me to this meeting, to this talk, to dive deeply into large language models and maybe some of the CloudFerro cases. On a daily basis, I work here at CloudFerro as a product manager for our generative AI services. I'm also doing in the afternoon and in the evenings my own research project related to also AI, but more related to my education, because I'm applying the methods of deep learning to sky surveys.
Wow.
More fundamental cosmological research. Hope to defend a PhD thesis in a few years.
So clearly this sounds impressive, and I will introduce myself. I'm Radek Zaleski. I'm a marketer. Sounds less impressive, I guess. So,
but you've got a long experience with in the IT industry, and with talks and podcasts.
Janek, let's focus on topic. Let's not talk about old people. Let's focus on the topic. So, as your product manager for one of the solutions at CloudFerro, which is called Sherlock, very briefly, what Sherlock is for people who are not deeply into this, it's a platform on which you can host different types of LLMs, AI models, open source models, and to use them into different purposes, which hopefully we will discuss today. Jan, could you very quickly go through in more detail about what is Sherlock, how it was built, what was the story?
Well, 2 years ago, we knew that the world is changing. Revolution of AI is approaching, and we wanted to be part of it, part of the revolution. Especially that at CloudFerro we are managing large amounts of data, of observation data, and we knew that the technology of large language models will also help to discover them and to work with them. We are also a cloud company. We do provide cloud services. And what is important, what is very useful, and what is the main purpose of cloud services is to provide higher level software that can speed up development of your applications, of your end solutions, and we do want to provide a platform for it. So the Sherlock currently is the software product, which is the APIs, the endpoints with large language models, so that you can easily integrate to your agentic and conversational apps and build the workflows that are getting more and more popular. We also wanted, as the company that is using a lot of open source software, that is also doing all layers of the services on their own. We do have our own data centers. We do orchestrate the servers on our own. So we also wanted to provide the AI, large language models, in our own way, based on open software. We are aware that there are regulated, and we are reaching, yes, the regulated industries, or such industries that we want to be sovereign, like
Right.
the areas of resilience and defense in Europe. We do want it to provide access to AI, to large language models, that is completely independent from American and general worldwide technology. So this is why we provided the CloudFerro.
Right. So to try to recap in a more simpler terms, so there's this whole push buzzword hype around AI, right? And for the most people, the AI is the chatbot that you use to do different things, maybe some funny images online. For people who are more into the cloud and into the software, those large language models are the biggest names like Claude or OpenAI and recent moves from Google with Gemini. And what Sherlock is providing is something different. It's something that is independent from those platforms and is hosted on the infrastructure that can be managed by you if you are a company, right? You can rent or buy such an infrastructure from, for example, CloudFerro, and then you can host such model and you do a lot of stuff with it. Do I get this right?
Well, this is the scenario where you want to use our computes with GPUs. But this is the case where you really want to do it completely independently. You've got a good business case that you can afford these services.
I can't afford it. What should I do?
Well, and in this case, maybe CloudFerro Sherlock APIs would be the solution for you, because in this case we are hosting and serving selection of large language models and do distribute them among all the clients. So you are just paying for the usage, just how much your app is using the service, and you are not paying for the infrastructure that you are renting from us. So this is much. So this is the cost-efficient solution. Okay, so
of course I played a dump a bit. I know Sherlock pretty well. I even used it for my own purposes. I'm a certified vibe coder since first day, and I'm using also our solution, which is Sherlock. What is for me very interesting is that you have this very high, I would say, flexibility of choosing your own model, right? If I remember correctly, there are a number of models right now on Sherlock. For me, it will be interesting to understand from you as a product manager, how do you approach this? Like, which models do you choose to support? How do you manage those things? How do you run this product? Because I assume this might be pretty interesting, considering that every day there is a new open source model, language model that can do visuals, audio models, Hugging Face is buzzing with new models. So I would love to understand the thought process behind this.
Yes. Well, in most broad context, we provide the selection of 3 types of models. The first one is the most popular and the type that we are likely most that we are exploiting the most. So the text to text large language models that you can use for the chats and more agentic cases. We provide also the text embedding models. So the models where you input the piece of text and get the abstract vector representation, so that you can later make the so that you can later compare those vectors and get and build systems that can find similarities in big
So
data.
I can use those systems to spot patterns and observe changes, for example, in some different types of huge databases. Do I get this right?
In principle, yes, but I believe that we will dive deeper in this topic later.
Okay, great.
If we, for example, speak a little bit about RAG concepts and etc. Because the third and the last types of the models that Sherlock provides is the maybe the old technology, but little bit evolved recently. So the OCR, yes. So the text recognition from the pictures and for example PDF documents.
I thought it was solved like years ago.
It was solved, but for example, we decided to add those models that are also a little bit supported by the large language models development. Because if you're working with the open source text-to-text model, it does not. Most of the models do not have the capabilities to understand the PDFs, for example, that can run through the company or your own knowledge base. And we do wanted to provide also the OCR models, so that in our platform, Sherlock platform, so that you can build the systems with the platform that, for example, can work with the images or the PDFs, which are the common files in each company.
So you've divided those models into 3 types. Now let's focus on the first one. Could you name some usual suspects that you like to work with or are popular?
CloudFerro is based in Poland, and for this case, we are hosting Polish larger language models that were developed and are still developing here in our country. Maybe our economy is still growing, yes, but in terms of popularity, the Polish language will not surpass in next years the English culture. And well, from my own experience, when I use ChatGPT or Claude and speak with the model, chat with this model in Polish, from time to time I'm getting some words that are not from the Polish language, or when the sentence does not use our grammar correctly.
So we are supporting which Polish models right now?
So the Bielik,
okay,
from Speaklish Foundation, and the model that was developed and issued by the Ministry for Digital Affairs. So the PLOM, Polish Large Language Model. Yeah, exactly.
2 Polish models, and then we have how I understand it, a variety of global models, right?
Yeah, some smaller models from Mistral, so the French based company, And we've got also the open source GPT, the bigger version, which from some insights published from OpenAI, that it was based, the technology was based on GPT-4o Mini. So one of the best yet smaller reasoning models.
So my initial question was, if you manage this platform, how do you get around and to choose which models you support or introduce? And if there is a feasible future that I could use Sherlock as a platform to host my own model, like bring your own model type of solution.
Yeah, well, currently we do have two main use cases, two main industries. In industries, that's a too big word, but two main use cases when it comes to large language models. First, we are the Polish models, yeah, the fine-tuned models on Polish language are supporting and running the apps for lawyers, for example. Those startups, those businesses developed and are still developing the software that is helping lawyers in their daily practice. And here, as far as I know, they do use also a paid and closed source models like Chat GPT or Claude from Anthropic. But for this certain tasks, they do find that Bielik is the best choice. But this is usually the thing that you start when you are developing the app. You start from something big that is widely accepted and known, like ChatGPT. Yeah. But then you are tuning your solution, and it turns out that, for example, some of steps of the workflow or just some features are perform best when you are using something different. And it can be the case that if you are doing something like your native language specific, maybe you should use the model that was fine-tuned in your own native language.
Yeah, got it.
And the second main use case is more related to our, let's say, main the biggest branch of our business, the Earth observation case, where there are few solutions that were that we know that somehow that are helping to deal with in exploration or processing of satellite data, Earth observation data. There are many different collections every day. New images are arriving to our data center, and language models like this open source ChatGPT can be the orchestrating engine, agentic engine, to build processes around those data.
Thanks for explanation. I will have questions around this a bit later, I hope. One of the themes that is for me interesting regarding open source infrastructure models, the whole setup, is that one of the promises is that I have a full control around not only where my data is being hosted and disseminated, but also that I can, for example, train the model or fine-tune the model. Could you talk a little bit about this, not maybe about Sherlock, but general your ideas and observations and trends that you're seeing across the market right now.
Yeah, so this is what I've heard at least a few times from different founders or just practitioners of agenting and in general AI systems related to language. That okay, the ChatGPT, the Claude are great models, but the companies that are developing them do perform from time to time the tests on the users, even the A/B tests that are known as good practice in product management. But it can be the case that you are that your app can become the the subject of a such test. And even if you are using the new model or the older model, it can be the case that okay, maybe calling the API you did not change the model ID at all, but nevertheless the the API provider do perform some tests. And what I have heard from the stories is that from time to time they do see the regression, for example, in such cases.
So what's the risk, for example, if it happens to me?
That if you are using a commercially available model from its provider, you cannot be always sure. It's not granted that the model will not change in time. And if you you are very case sensitive,
got it.
then it can become an issue.
So the example might be that as a vibe coder, I create a simple app that creates a marketing decks using some RAG system.
Yes.
Even I might even be such a developer, who knows? And someone changes some parameters on the model, and then it starts showing gibberish.
Yeah.
And I don't know why this is happening. Do I get this right?
I believe the intention of the provider of the model provider is to get to acquire some thumbs up or thumbs down. But in the case, but if you are even giving the feedback that you don't like the change, still your app can be influenced. And in the case of the usage of the open source models, that were once trained and published and are served, you can be there is a bigger control. You really know what you are using. You really know when the model is changing.
So let me push back on this a bit, because I think this might be not that clear for some people. I guess. Let's see. So
okay.
My pushback would be sure, but those commercial models are so much powerful.
They are.
And whatever. I don't care. Why should I bother with some smaller models that require probably technical know-how from my side? Like why should I?
Well, that's usually the matter of tests. And as I also mentioned earlier, usually the first go-to solution, if you are trying to build something, to try to experiment, which we should do in this when everybody can become a vibe coder in a day, is to access the commercial closed source models. But maybe the thing you want to build is okay. It can be in principle difficult to build, but maybe it does not require like the biggest, the most pricey, the most expensive model. Maybe the thing is that at the end you will build a piece of software powered by a large language model that can be smaller, and you've got two gains from it. First is the efficiency and throughput speed, so you can get more tokens per second, so you can so your app will run faster. And the second thing is that the smaller the model, the smaller the infrastructure to run it, so the price will be lower.
So the cost effectiveness is one of the factors as well. Let me know if you agree. What I've heard, reading online and some gossips, that of course those commercial models are super powerful and top notch, top edge if you want to get to understand what is feasible with LLM models. But whenever you hit the productivity and some kind of you're grounded in some kind of a process that is working and you don't want to change it, like you've mentioned, like you don't want to have any distractions by someone or something that is changing on the model. But also if this process is big enough, then you're optimized for cost, right? You're optimized for how speedy is the model and how efficient is this model. And what I've heard is that for many US-based AI startups, that they start with Claude or ChatGPT or whatnot, but then they are looking for more efficient open source models to host it on their infrastructure or to use infrastructure as CloudFerro to speed up the development process or process of processing materials, but also to be more price efficient. Is it true?
Well, definitely this is the case. You start with something that that you are quite sure it's granted out of the box, but then comes the time for the optimization and more predictability. Because also if you are using the external APIs like the biggest model providers, there is also the issue of not controlling the performance. But having your own instance, your own infrastructure, you can tune it up to your needs. And this is it costs more, and therefore you're also looking for the open source solution that can really fit your needs and be at acceptable price.
Let me go quickly jump into the next topic, which is.
But did I answer your question? I'm not sure if because I'm not sure if I got the first half right.
I think I got what I wanted. I will go back to this in a second because
in a different way.
The next topic is kind of maybe not fully related to it, but let's me go back with a recap, right? So there's this huge change or huge hype, AI, LLM models, and everything. I don't think we need to cover this now. There's this question of like, what is the approach for the organizations relating? How do we build on such infrastructure if we need either precise models that we can control and maybe train and maybe deploy on scale, in which efficiency makes an impact, which is basically price and control. But then there is this topic of control over the data and over having ability not to train anyone else's model or expectations from the end users that the things that they will be doing is not logged anywhere, right? And you mentioned this, for example, legal companies. Probably this is why they need such infrastructure. Could you go a little bit deeper into this topic?
Yeah, and I think I can also provide you the use case from one of our clients.
If you can.
How they are, for example, dealing with how they are leveraging the open source and closed source in one app. But first, one remark about in general using the different model providers. Yes, so those who are training the models, or the hyperscalers, the big cloud providers, but also the European providers and your own possible instance. Like the big change, I think, in this revolution that we are experiencing, but and contributing, is the fact that the APIs to access to access different providers are mostly in one standard. You are changing few variables, but the thing is that the structure, how to use the models with the APIs, is pretty universal. So this allows you to really explore different models, different providers, because the change of the model is really straightforward. You just need to somehow to get the key API key for authorization to access the APIs.
For commercial interruption, for our listeners and viewers, if you're looking for such API key, you should message Jan directly, and he will provide you one with some trial wallet, and you can test it yourself. I hope it is not a false advertisement. Is it true, Jan?
It's not a false advertisement, and even Radek asked me before this conversation that I shall show you the way at the end of our talk.
Okay, so let's not skip it yet, but yeah. So I interrupted you with a commercial part of it. So what you were saying is that it is super easy to change those API keys between different models.
Yeah, and change between providers.
And providers, yeah.
Yeah, because for example, changing the cloud provider for your for your whole system may not be that, for example, easy.
Yeah.
Yes, and coming back, for example, to using the closed source, open source. For example, the lawyers. This is the case that if you are, for example, the legal advisor, you are you are dealing with with documentation from your client, and it depends in which cases you are the specialist, but there can be a lot of like personal information, your IDs, names, connections, how much money you own, what properties you own, etc. Yes, and the fundamental is always the trust with the legal advisor. And for example, such documents should not be sent to any external processor, because there is always the risk of the leak, or definitely we would not like to have the case that future version of some models do contain those data in its weights. And the thing that, for example, can be done in such cases of processing the documents containing lots of personal information is that you process the documents with some local model, and you are obfuscating, deleting personal information from the text, and just saving it only to your personal computer, or you can use you can use services like our CloudFerros, because we do not store any logs from the inputs, because we also.
So for example, if I'm using a fabulous code solution like Cursor, which is popular right now, and you can change models that are being used by the system. So if I develop a personal application that gathers all my personal know-how, my all personal I don't know, presentations, thoughts, and I use those better, I would say, frontier models, commercial models to build the app inside this tool. And then once I put into local folder in my local computer my all personal data, let's say health, finance, as you mentioned, and then I switch the key inside this application that I built to, for example, Sherlock open source ChatGPT model. What you're saying is that my local files can be used by this tool to be processed by Sherlock without any logs, without any data leakage. Do I get this correct?
Yes. Just but there is only. I guess every vibe coder, every developer that also tried attempt at least few times to develop some software with externally hosted models. I believe everybody said to the inference provider some secrets or things that did not want to them.
No, does not happen. Come on.
If there is somebody who has not done it yet, let it throw the stone for the as first. Yeah.
But how I understand the promise of a platform that you are managing, you build, is that if it is precisely for such use cases, right? That it is better to use such platform using our personal data, for example, that we would not like to share with anyone else, right?
I guess the ideal is to have some kind of containerization.
Okay.
Maybe this is maybe this would be the right description.
Now Jan is coaching me. Jan is coaching me online about flaws of my architecture. Thanks, Jan.
That could be also the flaws of my architecture. So that the thing is that if you are using the app like Cursor, and okay, that you can have few model providers there, and if only one is the kind of preferable for the personal information data, I would not even use it for this use case. I would prefer to have a separate vibe coding app that is strictly using the say safer from the perspective of personal data policy. Likely there will be okay, it can be some friction. There's two more apps to work with, but only in this case I believe you can have the full full control.
This
because
conversation
at the end most of the security leaks and most of the problems are coming from not from the technology but from us, from humans.
So Jan, again, thank you for destroying my confidence in my architectural skills and my vibe coding skills. I will book a meeting so you can coach me and train me on how to use those systems in more proficient way. But let's jump into another.
I believe most of us are figuring the way how to do it the best, because the standards are also changing quickly.
For sure. For sure.
And this is one possible approach, but I guess there could be new ideas coming up soon.
So before we jump into a demo where we can go through the application, we went through different topics and different talking points. Is there anything else? There is something on your mind looking forward into this whole hosted open source models, platforms like Sherlock and or similar, that you're thinking that is going to be a next big thing, or something that you're thinking ahead that might be either a feature or a new big thing that you are focusing on?
I would, well, my big hope is that this year, in general, people will learn more about the way how to sketch and later evaluate the AI solutions, because it doesn't matter if you will be using the closed source models or the open source models. It's still very important to find the right use case that you want to the problem you want to solve, and to see and have in mind how you want to also evaluate it, because we still do have kind of this is I guess something deeply inside human nature, that we dream about different solutions, but when it comes to that we need to build them, it's becoming it's growing and it's becoming more and more difficult. But there are lots of different there are lots of tools that can help you to build such solutions, but I think the most important skill for the technical guys and not technical guys is to see and learn when to apply these AI models, and how to evaluate the agentic solutions, because at the end you need to see the value that is delivering.
Jan, thank you. Before we jump into the screen share, when you will do a demo for me and for the other viewers, the hardest question today, probably, hope you're ready. Are you grounded? I hope you are.
Surprise me.
Surprise you? Like, give me a pitch of Sherlock. Like, you have to tell about, elevator pitch about your platform. Give it a go. Why should I use it? What's the value? What's the difference?
Well, if you are the developer of agentic solutions, if you are business representative from a regulated industry, I think you may have an interest in our APIs for large language models from CloudFerro. And the Sherlock is the solution where you can access those models the same way you're accessing the ChatGPT or any other large language model provider. But there is a difference. We do host it completely in Europe, in Warsaw and Łódź data centers. We do not store any logs from the inputs and the text generated answers, so that if your case is more to the if your case is from the regulated area, if you are really privacy concerned about the things you are sending to AI, this is the solution that you should consider.
So, Jan, great. Thank you for the great conversation. I learned a lot of today. Now let's go quickly into the demo, where you will be showcasing the application, just like for the first user would see it with your commentary. So I don't want to
Sure.
disrupt you with it. Let's do this. And I thank you very much for having me.
Hello, I'm Janek Szpakowski, and I'll be showing you a short demo showcasing capabilities of our Sherlock platform. But before we jump into the demo, I'd like to highlight that the development of the new functionalities, including Sherlock, that support our cloud-based solution is enabled through initiatives such as Gateway. Okay, so let's jump in. Let's start at the web page of our Sherlock platform. Of course, to use it, you need to set up an account. I will just show you quickly that you need to click sign in, and then you just need to fill out the form, which is pretty standard, and go through the process, and the site will guide you through the process. I think it's fairly easy. Okay, so let me jump into my account. So once signed in, let's go to my account. And to use Sherlock, we need an API key. So to do that, let's start by creating a new project. Let's call it Chatbot Demo. Okay. And let's go to the list of projects. And here's my newly created Chatbot Demo project. So now to get an API key, let's click Add Key. Let's write, set up a name, key 1, then submit. Here is the key is shown to you. Copy it and save it. And yeah, you can see it in your keys list. You can preview the key or copy it again. And be sure not to share the key, as it can let someone use your account. And of course, if you let's say accidentally paste the key somewhere, especially if you're using generative AI to help you develop some code, if you pass the key there, you shouldn't use it anymore. So you can always delete the key and create a new one, just to be safe. Okay. So I have a key prepared. That's all we needed from the Sherlock webpage. And we can jump to the coding part. I am using VS Code as my code editor. Let's start with saving the API key. As I told you, you should keep it safe. So the safe way to store the API key is create the .env file with environmental variables. So to do that, let's create open open AI API key variable, and let's paste our key here. Okay, let's save that. And then let's go to my code. So first of all, the libraries that we need, the OS to read the .env file, and .env to read the .env file, and the OS to get the variables. And Sherlock platform is compatible with the OpenAI standard. So we use OpenAI library and Gradio library for a simple user interface. So first of all, we need to load the environmental, the .env file, and there we store the API key. The other variables that we need is the base URL, so the API URL for the Sherlock, and the model variable that let us choose the LLM that we want to use. And in this case, I choose the GPT OSS, as it's a powerful open source model. So we need to set up the OpenAI client with the OpenAI and pass the OpenAI, pass the API key through OS getEnv OpenAI key, which gets the API key from .env file, and base URL to connect to the API. Next, we have system prompt variable that lets us configure the behavior of our chatbot. Let's say for the basic part, I'll discuss it later a bit more and showcase the possibilities that we have with this functionality. Yeah, so for starters, just plain and a simple instruction that our chatbot will be a helpful assistant. Now we can start defining the respond function. This function will do two things. One is to communicate with the Sherlock platform and get the response from LLM. And the second, it will store history of the conversation. So it will get as arguments, it will get the user text and previous history, and what it will do. So first, we need to create the history variable, either with the previous history, or if it's empty, as it's our first message, then it will add an empty list. Then it will add a new user message from the user text to the history with assigned role user. So in this way, we have the current history of conversation. So next, we need to prepare a message that we will send to the language model. And to do that, we want to format it in the OpenAI style. So first, we want to add system prompt in the beginning of the message that will adjust the, for example, style of the response, or will tell our assistant what to do with our task, and then add history variable. So it's getting system prompt, then history, and on the end there's a new message. And we pass that messages to the client.chatCompletion.create, which is the function from the OpenAI library that will get us the LLM response. So we pass the model that we choose, so the GPT model. We pass the messages, and we set the temperature. I will showcase what temperature changes in a second. And then once we get the response, we need to extract the text out of that message. And to do that, we do this in this line, as the response comes with additional information like the tokens, how many tokens we use, what was the response time, and other metadata that we don't need now. So we just want the content. And once we get the response, we want to append it to the history variable. So we get the full conversation, and we want to basically return the history variable. And we return a tuple like that with empty string it's a specific thing for the Gradio interface. Okay, so that will be our function communicating with the LLM. And now we can go to the UI part, which is very simple as well. Let's start coding a very simple user interface using Gradio. So it starts with Gradio blocks. The title with GR Markdown, we are setting title. And then we use a chatbot box, like predefined the chatbot element, and which will display chatbot's history. Then we set up text the box which will let us type our messages, and with a placeholder that will be displayed where you want the user to type its messages, and the button for clearing the history. And here we tell that once we hit the submit button, we want to invoke the respond function. Okay, and demo launch to launch the UI. So let's see how it works. So I click the button to run the code. And let's wait a second. And we got URL to where our demo is displayed. So we copy that to browser or click it to direct us to the demo, and we see our simple UI. And here we can just type our message. Hello, how are you? And let's hopefully, we got the assistant response, and our assistant's doing great. Hope we're doing great as well. Okay, so to start the demo, we pass the URL to our browser, and just to refresh it. Let's hit refresh, and this is the UI that we are presented with, and we can simply just to check if it works. Yeah, so we're getting some responses, and we set up our chatbot to be in the system prompt to system message to be a helpful assistant. So let's find the task that it can assist us with. So let's say plan a trip to Paris. Let's see what we get. Waiting, so I guess there's a lot of planning happening in the background. Okay. So let's see what we got. It seems like our chatbot did a lot of work. So it suggested a 7-day Paris getaway, and as we see, we have plans for the all 7 days. Tips on how to get around the city, how to get to the Paris, then review of the so a lot of useful informations. Okay, so but as we can probably see, it's quite general, and we just said plan 7 days trip to Paris. So let's see how we can customize our assistant to be more helpful with how to adjust it for a specific task. So we asked our AI assistant to plan a trip to Paris, and let's see if we can improve that with the system prompt, and we can also learn what to. I can showcase what the system prompt is useful. So we had very general instruction that our chatbot is a helpful assistant. So let's be more specific. You are a trip planning assistant. And the message, it was quite long, so let's instruct it to keep your answers concise and informative. And let's see how that changes the chatbot's response. So to do that, we got to stop the running code and rerun it again. Waiting for the... Oh, okay. We got the same address. So let's go and let's rerun the demo and ask a similar question. So plan a trip to Paris, and let's see how the response changes. Okay, so first of all, we see that the response is much shorter. So we indeed changed the instructing the assistant to be concise helped in here, and also is well structured, and in general a solid planning advice for a trip. So we changed the assistant system prompt to help us plan a trip, but let's see another example. And let's say we want to do something different. Let's state role. You are a 19th century traveler. Answer in witty and endured manner. So, yeah, let's see how this system prompt will impact our Paris trip planning efforts. So restarting the code again, and let's go to the browser, refresh, and once again, let's plan a trip to Paris and see what we can get from our 19th century traveler. Okay, so right off the bat, we can see the change in the tone. So that's correct, as we expect people that it's in the style of the 19th century, and the second thing we can observe is the suggestions when it comes to transportation. So we can see railways and then steamship. So again, it's something we can expect from for a planning trip in the 19th century. The rest of the messages is changed to suit the so it's more like 19th century style. So it's not only the style of the writing, but also we can see that it is factually different as it's adjusted for the past times. Okay, so this is my end of my quick demo. I hope it was helpful. And just to quickly recap, I showed you how to set up API key in the Sherlock, then how to make a very simple chatbot using OpenAI library and Gradio for the UI. And then we went through some examples of how to adjust the assistants through the system prompt. I hope it's helpful, and it will encourage you to experiment on your own with our Sherlock platform. Thank you very much.
So that's a wrap. Thank you for providing us with very quick demo how the platform works and how it can be used. Before we say goodbye, maybe a few quick words how the Sherlock platform will be developed in the future. What's the roadmap?
So next month, I guess the biggest increment and very closely tied to our conversation will be the so-called bring your own model feature.
Okay.
So you will be able to link the Hugging Face open source model that you are interested to try out to use in your app, no matter if it's smaller or bigger one. We will guide you through, the system will guide you through optimization and suggestion of the right infrastructure that could be at the same time cost efficient. And if it will be compatible to the inference engine, so the software that is running it, then you will be able to deploy it and use it in your own solutions, in your own apps. You will have also all the features that the platform has, so that all the control of the access to the model, to the endpoints, and so on will be granted to you in full package.
Great, thank you for the update. That was a conversation between Radek Zaleski, that is me, CMO at CloudFerro, and Jan Szypulski, product manager of AI hosted solutions, aka Sherlock platform. Thank you very much for chat, Jan, and good to see you next time.
Thank you for having me. Hope to see you again.
Cheers, bye.
The development of new functionalities, such as Sherlock, that drive our cloud-based solutions is possible, among others, through projects like Gateway. The goal of Gateway is to create a comprehensive and integrated ecosystem that enables the secure sharing, use, and storage of spatial data,